bet you folks don't have one of these.
I want that.
Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host Aaron, and for today's video we're headed to the world of Team Red. Yes, AMD at Computex 2022 with their keynote broke down everything that is coming in the future. And if you didn't know, I am big on Team Red, and I've been on pins and needles wanting to make this reaction video. I've watched the first basically 20 minutes and we have now gotten to the new desktop part, and I thought I wanted to do this together. Now, I've always been kind of a skip a generation kind of guy, and I know a lot of people wait a lot longer than I would. So, you know, I get a phone, I'll wait a couple years and then I'll get a new phone. But with my desktop, I'm the exact same way. Right now I'm rocking an AMD 3900, which is a great CPU, but I didn't go the last generation, and I'm gonna see what this new generation is. So without further ado, this is probably gonna be about a 10-minute reaction video. Let's see what Team Red is going to be bringing us. Action.
That extends our leadership in desktop PCs.
Right.
Our next generation Ryzen 7000 desktop CPUs combine our new Zen 4 core in 5nm process technology with the all-new socket AM5 platform to bring more performance, more features, and more capability to desktop PCs. And it all starts with our Zen 4 core. We designed Zen 4 to deliver significant performance and performance per watt advances over our already industry-leading Zen 3 core. We doubled the L2 cache to 1 megabyte per core for higher throughput. We've also increased the clock speeds on Zen 4 to run significantly above 5 gigahertz. And with higher IPC and faster clock speeds, we expect Zen 4 CPUs to deliver more than 15% higher single-threaded performance compared to the prior generation. We've also added instructions for hardware-accelerated AI workloads like neural networks and machine learning. Now, for the first time,
Wait a second. I'm already messing with this.
AI
reaction.
workloads like neural networks and machine
Where'd
learning
you go?
to deliver more hertz. We doubled the L2.
Whoa! So they have doubled the level 2 cache. Doubled it. 1 megabyte per core. That is huge. On top of that, Team Blue Intel normally always crushes its single thread performance and their overall max gigahertz. This is saying it now has a max boost of over 5 gigahertz. Daddy likey so far.
Cache to 1 megabyte Ryzen 7000. As you can see, Ryzen 7000 CPUs include up to 2 core chiplets, each with 8 Zen 4 cores, built on an optimized version of TSMC's high-performance 5nm process technology. The larger chiplet is an all-new 6nm I/O die designed for Ryzen 7000. We added RDNA 2 graphics, bringing integrated graphics capabilities into our Ryzen enthusiast desktop CPUs for the first time. And we've also made significant advances in power management and added support for the latest memory and I/O technologies like DDR5 and PCI Express 5. To tell you more about our new AM5 desktop platform, here's the general manager of our desktop business, David McAfee.
What's up, David? I'm literally going to stop right there, okay? Maybe this is going to be longer than 10 minutes. So what she said there is another thing that Intel had is they had discrete video on their CPUs, okay? Now, why would anybody want to have video capability on their CPU? Obviously, everyone's going to run a separate GPU, right? You're going to have an NVIDIA or AMD graphics card. Well, what is good about this is troubleshooting. So if you're having a problem with your system, if you're having a problem with the video, you can now test it because you can run your computer through normally the motherboard actual video slot and then run the graphics off your CPU instead of off your GPU. So it's just an added benefit. Or, you know, if the GPU market is crazy and you get a hold of a new CPU, at least you can run your entire system. You won't be playing, you know, high-end games, but you can do everything with just the CPU. One thing that Intel had over AMD, not anymore.
Thanks, Lisa. Beyond the processor itself, one of the most exciting aspects of this new product family is the transition to the AM5 platform ecosystem. As Lisa mentioned, AM4 was an incredible platform with longevity and capability beyond what we even imagined it would be when it was first introduced. As we approached the design of AM5, our philosophy followed many of the same principles. We wanted to create a platform designed for flexibility and built for the future, one that maximized the capability and performance of our processors, and one that incorporated modern I/O and interfaces that will define the next generation of enthusiast desktop PCs. To that end, our new AM5 platform will lead the industry in capability for the most demanding enthusiast PC builds. That starts with an all-new socket and a transition from micro-PGA to an LGA socket to drive more power and greater signal integrity for all of those high-speed I/Os. Pair that with an expansion to new processor infrastructure groups all the way up to 170 watts TDP to take advantage of the performance per watt efficiency of leading-edge process technology nodes, unlocking even more all-core performance. It incorporates next-generation I/O capabilities, including dual-channel DDR5 memory and the capability to drive the most PCI Gen 5 lanes from the processor socket in the industry. And last but not least, over the past several years, we've developed a robust cooler ecosystem for AM4 platforms, supporting a wide range of passive, air, and liquid coolers in all shapes and sizes and price range. And I'm happy to say that as we make this transition, our new AM5 socket will be compatible with existing AM4 coolers.
Woohoo! So you're going to be getting more power output that should be more efficient. Well, hopefully more efficient. It is going to run DDR5 dual channel memory, which is going to be very fast. And it is using the new PCI Express 5 lanes. And likely that is going to be for your CPU, GPU, and your M.2 as far as your storage goes. And if you are upgrading an existing system, the cooler socket or what you're going to use for it will work. So it's backwards compatible. But I'm guessing since it's a new, well, I'm not guessing. Since it's a new socket, though, you will have to upgrade your motherboard, though. So we'll see if they talk about that.
When you look at AM5's I/O capabilities, we've made many enhancements, like enabling 24 PCI lanes capable of Gen 5 speed connected directly to the socket to power the fastest storage and graphics solutions in the industry. We now support up to 14 super speed USB ports, including support for 20 gigabit per second speed and USB Type-C connectors. We know that connectivity is critical to the enthusiast motherboard user, and AM5 includes support for Wi-Fi 6E for blazing fast wireless connectivity, as well as 4 independent display outputs connected to the integrated RDNA 2 graphics engine.
Whoa! So up to 4 displays. That means without a graphics card, without a dedicated GPU, just the new CPU, you can run 4 monitors. Not to mention the fastest PCI Express 5 and the fastest Ethernet, wireless.
In addition to all of that I/O directly connected to the socket, the new 600 series chipsets bring a host of expansion options to the platform to meet the needs of even the most demanding users. Now, beyond the core platform I/O, the socket AM5 ecosystem also features an all-new SVI3 power infrastructure. This brings multiple advantages to the platform, such as support for additional power phases, for that higher power delivery into the motherboard, fine-grained power control, and significantly faster voltage response capabilities. Our AM5 motherboard family will feature 3 levels of boards with different features targeting different segments of the desktop market. At the very top of the stack, we have our X670 Extreme motherboards. These boards deliver the best of the best across all aspects of what the most demanding enthusiasts crave. PCI 5, dual channel DDR5 memory with the most extreme overclocking headroom and the most power phases to push the limits of performance and overclocking. Next, The X670 AM5 platform delivers the goods for the bulk of Ryzen enthusiasts and their gaming builds. PCI 5 to at least one of the M.2 slots, as well as the primary graphics slot on many boards, as well as very strong memory overclocking and CPU power deliveries on the board. And finally, our B650 boards offer the perfect balance of price point and capability.
This is a perfect place to stop for a minute. So it will be a big price difference between these three. And obviously he's not wrong. The X670 normal board is what most people will get. Now, what he's saying is that every board storage-wise on the M.2 will have at least one PCI Express 5, okay? On the B60, you'll have one. On the 670, you'll have PCI Express 5 on the storage and the graphics. But on the 670 Extreme, both M.2s or three M.2s will be PCI Express 5, both PCI Express 5s on the GPU and through the CPU. And all of them are going to have the DDR5 memory.
These boards are designed for performance users who want all the features the AM5 ecosystem has to offer, but may not demand all of the headroom and overclocking support the X series boards make available. These boards will all feature PCI 5 to an M.2 storage socket so that users can take advantage of the benefits that Gen 5 offers. Now, in 2019, AMD was the first to introduce PCI 4 to our desktop platforms, and now we're bringing in PCI 5, which doubles the throughput once again, offering a theoretical maximum speed of 32 gigatransfers per second per lane to a range of devices on the motherboard.
Wow, that's
the first
fast.
enthusiast-grade PCI 5 devices entering the market are NVMe storage solutions. And AMD has partnered with Phison, as well as storage device manufacturers like Crucial and Micron, to bring this incredible performance uplift to the AM5 platform. Now, speaking of performance, as we develop these next-gen storage solutions with our partners, we're seeing an incredible 60% increase in sequential read performance versus PCI Gen 4 drives. When you think about what gamers and enthusiasts want most, like faster game loads or recalling large models from storage, the PCI Gen 5 ecosystem promises to deliver a fantastic experience. We expect to see the first devices from Crucial and Micron available in the consumer market timed with the introduction of the AM5 ecosystem, followed by new devices from other partners like Gigabyte, MSI, Corsair, and many more shortly thereafter.
My Corsair PCI Express 4 M.2 NVMe is so fast already. I mean, it's literally faster than my system RAM. So thinking about a 60% increase over that, it's fast.
Our partners will introduce a range of new AM5 platforms covering the features, price points, and capabilities to address the needs of many different enthusiast desktop customers. Boards from ASRock, ASUS, BioStar, Gigabyte, and MSI will feature many of the capabilities that you heard about today.
ASRock.
I'm so excited about what we're bringing to market with AM5 and the designs our partners are developing around this next generation solution. I can't wait for you to get your hands on the next era of Ryzen desktop computing. And with that, I'd like to hand the stage back to Lisa to show off a little bit of what this platform is capable of.
Thanks, David, for highlighting some of the big advances AM5 will bring to desktop PCs. Now, one of my favorite things to do is show off our new tech, so I'm so excited to be able to do that now with Ryzen 7000. Let's start first with gaming. What you're seeing now is gameplay footage of the recently released Ghostwire Tokyo from Tango Gameworks and Bethesda Studios, running on a pre-production version of our 16-core Ryzen 7000 processor. This first-person action-adventure game has rich visuals that help recreate an alternate version of Tokyo. If you look at the current frequency of the CPU reported in the top left corner, you can see that those Zen 4 cores are running around 5.5 gigahertz, with slight variations during gameplay. We designed Zen 4 to run significantly faster than our previous generation, and that increase in frequency can translate into a smoother gaming experience. And while this is just one example, we're really excited for gamers to get their hands on our Ryzen 7000 series.
Holy crap. Obviously, AMD is trying, like, I would need to see more than that, you know, what settings the game are at and everything like that. But if it can maintain high settings and run at 5.5 gigahertz, I mean, you can almost not even push an AMD chip that far right now. Holy smokes. I want it.
But we know our fans use Ryzen for more than just gaming. From the beginning, Ryzen has set the standard for high-performance content creation, delivering performance that was previously only available in a workstation-class processor. Ryzen 7000 will extend that even further. Now let me show you a Ryzen 7000 processor running the popular Blender 3D modeling software. On the right is the Ryzen 7000 system, and the left is a competitor system. Both CPUs are 16 cores and rendering a custom image of our next-gen Ryzen desktop CPU, with Blender maxing out the core and thread count of those processors to complete the render as quickly as possible. As you can see, the Ryzen 7000 system completes the process 31% faster, which means creators spend less time waiting and much more time creating.
I just did a quick Google search during that to see how much that Intel CPU is. The i9, what is it, 12900. It's a $600 CPU. Okay, this CPU right here is $600. And this is outperforming it by 31% on Blender. I am very curious which version. I'm guessing it's the top version, obviously. Sorry.
So hopefully you can see why we're so excited about our next generation Ryzen 7000 CPUs and AM5 platforms. You'll hear a lot more over the coming months, and you should expect Ryzen 7000 processors will be available starting this fall. It's been fantastic spending some time with everyone today. Let me close with a recap of the news. New ultra-thin and gaming notebooks powered by Ryzen 6000 series and AMD Advantage with leadership performance and battery life are available now.
I heard what I needed. Very happy with the news. I almost bought the 5900 CPU, decided I was going to wait. I was like, there's nothing I really need that's going to outperform my 3900. I'm going to wait for the 7000 series, and I am so happy I did. Now, the question is, so first off, blown away with what they were able to do. What we are used to normally in, you know, the PC performance is incremental growth, 9% increase over the previous generation, and every year they get a little bit better. These are leaps and bounds by the previous generation, which is awesome, Pushes the industry forward. But the question is what is the new 7000 series GPUs going to bring to the table? Will Team Red finally push past Team Green NVIDIA in the graphics card arena? Now, they did a really, really good job with the 6000 series, like the 6800 XT and 6900 XT from a price to performance standpoint, but they still could not compete with that 3090 or the 3080 Ti. They were also a lot more expensive. So I'm curious if this CPU pushes past Intel this far, will the graphics cards do that as well? And they are working on the memory sharing, where if you have a Ryzen CPU and a Radeon graphics card, that you're also going to get a better performance pairing them. So more to come on that. I want to know what you think. I know it's been hard to get any supplies over COVID and all the supply chain issues. Have you waited like me? Are you excited? Do you want one of these? Let me know in the comment section below. This is a long video. I'm now done. Aaron, out.